Shavings.
The best and worst dressed stars, plus Zena's baby boy on ET.
Crackdown in Seattle. The police get tougher with demonstrators disrupting the World Trade Conference. We'll give you a close look at just who these protesters are. The booming business of drugs and how it led to Mexico's killing field. And the younger generation's long wait for Social Security is about to get longer.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Backed by the National Guard, police finally cleared protesters from the streets of Seattle today so President Clinton could address the organization they were trying to shut down. The meeting of the World Trade Organization was thrown into turmoil by violent demonstrations that went on into last night. That brought on today's crackdown, as CBS News White House correspondent John Roberts reports.
From first light, it was clear that police would tolerate no more violence. Anyone who dared to demonstrate was promptly handcuffed and carted away.
Let them go! Let them go!
By noon, 200 had been arrested.
This is a deplorable use of violence against peaceful, unarmed demonstrators.
Seattle is a city under siege today. National Guard troops patrol the streets. Shops and stores are boarded up. In the Emerald City, the holidays are on hold.
Double tall latte, $2.50.
Les Killian was one of few businessmen to brave the security net today.
We opened late today because of the curfew, but it's been fairly busy.
With protesters swept away, the WTO was back in business. Delegates whose movements had been frustrated Tuesday walked the streets freely.
Well, obviously, it's prevented some of the meetings from taking place, but the process continues.
Officials here have been careful to draw a distinction between legitimate protest and by a peaceful labor demonstration. President Clinton welcomed constructive challenges to the WTO.
For those who came here to peacefully make their point, I welcome them here because I want them to be integrated into the longer-term debate. To those who came here to break windows and hurt small businesses or stop people from going to meetings or having their say, I condemn them.
The president himself has protested the WTO's exclusion of environmental and labor interests in its trade deliberations. Mr. Clinton says that the process must be made more open to public scrutiny and participation, an idea in which the U.S. stands almost alone. Dan?
John Roberts in Seattle. Officials there have no apologies for their now no-tolerance tactics. The mayor says they didn't crack down earlier because he wanted to let people express their views. But today, there was nowhere to do that in downtown Seattle, as CBS's John Blackstone reports.
She carried no banner, just business papers.
I'm not bothering anybody here. I'm standing right here. Get out of my face!
The young woman said she wanted only to use the streets of her city.
You don't touch that thing. Do not touch it.
In Seattle today, however, to challenge the police in any way was to risk arrest. With uncompromising force, the police in Seattle today sought to end any kind of protest in the city center.
We got arrested for trespassing on the public streets.
Attorney Amy Kratz was pushed away when she tried to act as a legal observer at one mass arrest.
I'm not really familiar with cities being able to suspend the Constitution.
But for authorities, the justification for today's tough tactics was as obvious as the mayhem that continued late into last night on Seattle's streets. The hundreds of organized protest groups here deny involvement, and they blame police for reacting in ways that brought more violence.
I'm not going to attempt to put a positive spin on the damage that was done yesterday, the terror that was created.
Hundreds of protesters here have been trained in nonviolent resistance by a group called the Ruckus Society. Randall Hayes, who worked with Ruckus, says some of those here call themselves anarchists.
You hear the phrase anarchy groups. What does that mean? I'm sure there are thoughtful anarchists and really hooligan anarchists. So I don't know who did that.
With each side accusing the other of going too far yesterday, the middle ground that many protest organizers had hoped could exist here vanished from the streets of Seattle today.
And where my
What was supposed to be a forum for reasoned debate will instead be remembered as a place where extremism drowned out debate. John Blackstone, CBS News, Seattle.
Inside the WTO meeting, delegates are trying to set the agenda for a whole new round of trade negotiations aimed at freer trade in the next century. U.S. Trade Representative Charlene Barshevsky says they're on schedule and she expects an agreement by Friday. CBS News national security correspondent David Morton has new information tonight about how and why billions of tax dollars went up in smoke in a series of military satellite launch disasters. They happened over an 8-month period spanning this year and last. All 3 launch failures, according to an Air Force report today, were due to faulty engineering or workmanship and what investigators called, and I quote, a going out of business mentality on the part of rocket makers Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Total loss to you, the taxpayer, $3 billion worth of top secret military satellites. 60 years ago next month, Ida Mae Fuller became the first American to receive a Social Security monthly retirement benefit. She had just turned 65. Since then, life expectancy has skyrocketed in this country from 63 to nearly 77. And now, as CBS's Jim Axelrod reports, the eligibility age for collecting Social Security is about to begin a gradual rise till it reaches 67.
Inside Brooklyn's Book Court bookstore, Todd Colby's a busy man. There are sales to ring up.
This is what a BA in English literature gets you.
And novels to unpack. At 37, he's focused on today. Retirement?
When you are living from paycheck to paycheck, it is hard to think about long-term financial goals.
Like millions of Americans, the only sure thing for Todd and his coworkers is Social Security.
65? Show me the money, right?
No, Todd, wrong. New Social Security rules mean Todd, or anyone born after 1960, won't be eligible to collect full benefits until the age of 67.
It's very disturbing to find out that, that yet another 2 years is tacked on after I've spent my whole life putting into the pot.
The age hike for full benefits will be phased in gradually, starting with those people born in 1938. They have to wait until 65 years and 2 months to collect. How about early retirement, age 62? Reductions in those payouts will also be phased in, starting as early as next month.
How many people here are aware that Social Security increased the full retirement age from 65 to 67?
The government figures encouraging Americans to work longer will stretch an ever-shrinking supply of Social Security dollars. The plan's been in the works for 16 years, but for most Americans, it's who knew.
I was quite surprised.
Every year you delay costs you thousands of dollars in retirement savings.
The retirement planners pushing this message of change have another as well. Don't count on Social Security for much at all.
You've already heard proposals that people would like to see the retirement age for full eligibility raised to age 70. In fact, I've even heard people say to age 75.
70 or 75?
That's what I mean.
That's a novel idea Todd Colby would like never to hear again.
Yeah.
Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, a look at the booming narcotics traffic from Mexico to the U.S. and its link to a secret killing field. A major milestone in mapping the genetic blueprints of life. And a woman fulfilling her American dream of providing a home for every child who needs one.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather one, gather all. You're going to see something that will truly astonish you. A talking dog. This dog not only speaks right, it's cowboys and cowgirls, come on over. I'm going to show you something truly amazing. This is an alien space egg, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, step right over this way and you will see the world's most amazing computer deal. That's right, it defies belief.
Computer deals that sound too good to be true usually are, unless it's a Gateway PC. For $999, you get a PC with a year of internet included from a company you can believe in. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
Out here, I'm in command. So am I supposed to say, slow down, guys, I'm constipated? I don't think so. You try to eat right. Sometimes you can't. Harsh chemical laxatives, they can kick in whenever and wherever. Not an option. So I rely on doctor-recommended Metamucil. It's got 100% natural fiber. Works with my body, gently, which is important to a sensitive guy like myself.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
My business runs on long hours and a leave. I can't settle for those pain relievers that quit too soon. Just 2 Aleve are strong enough to work all day. I used to need 8 Tylenol to do that. There's a tool for every job. For tough pain, it's Aleve.
Look, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Ellie's renting again. And Enterprise picked her up again. She said Enterprise picks her up free. Free? Free. Now that makes renting easy.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Inside Mexico, just across the U.S. border, a new grim reminder that homicidal Mexican narco thugs have turned some routes into the U.S. into free-flowing superhighways for narcotics and have most likely been getting away with murder. Lots of it. CBS's Maureen Maher reports.
In the middle of the desert, 40 miles southwest of the U.S.-Mexican border, police tape marks off another gruesome burial site. Today, FBI agents and Mexican soldiers removed several bodies from the first of 4 possible mass graves near Juarez, Mexico.
So far, we have found the remains of 5 people. The bodies were piled up on top of each other.
The remains of those found will be flown to Washington for DNA testing and identification. Since 1993, more than 200 people have disappeared in Juarez at the hands of Mexican drug cartels. Over the last several years, street-side executions were common, a testament to how far those in control were willing to go to stay there.
It's rampant. The drug trafficking is rampant. The corruption permeates Mexico in those regions that the cartels exist.
The Mexican cartels gained their strength back in the 1980s when several major seaports were sealed off. Mexico's 2,000-mile-long border became the obvious choice, putting the country's cartels in a very powerful and profitable position. 29% of the heroin and 60% of the Colombian cocaine on the streets of America comes through Mexico. But the Mexican government has often given the cold shoulder when the U.S. has offered to assist in crushing the cartels. So American drug agents were encouraged when they were invited to the desert search.
Hopefully, what does come out of this is a stronger long-term relationship among law enforcement agencies on both sides of the border.
With more bodies being unearthed, agents now have solid evidence of where the cartels have been, but they are still searching for a way to stop them. Maureen Maher, CBS News, El Paso.
On the CBS Market Watch, the proposed merger of BP, Amoco, and Arco could be in trouble. The staff of the Federal Trade Commission reportedly is recommending the merger be blocked because it could mean sharply higher gasoline prices in western states. A mixed day on Wall Street today, more losing stocks than winners overall, but the blue chips rallied, the Dow up 120 points. The politics of election year tax cuts erupted today inside the ranks of Republicans seeking the presidential nomination. The flashpoint, a huge tax cut trial balloon being floated by George W. Bush the Younger. Some of his rivals shoved back hard, as CBS News chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer reports.
It's starting to get tense among the Republicans, and if the smile seemed a teeny bit strained when George W. Bush bumped into Steve Forbes in Iowa, well, no wonder. Minutes later, as Bush was laying out details of his plan to cut taxes, Forbes unveiled TV ads attacking Bush for saying he might consider raising the eligibility age for Social Security even higher.
I say it's a betrayal because that money has been promised to you.
Bush brushed it off, saying Forbes just likes tearing down people. As for Bush's tax cut plan, it was a big one as expected. $483 billion over 5 years, larger than the tax cut passed by the Republican Congress this year and later vetoed by the president. Some highlights. All tax brackets are reduced. The top one shrinks from 39.6 to 33%, with the lowest bracket dropping from 15 to 10%. The child tax credit would double to $1,000 a child. Inheritance taxes would be phased out, and all of it would be paid for with future government surpluses.
There are only 2 things that can be done with a surplus. It can be used by government, as the president proposes, or it can be used by Americans to save and build and invest.
Although Democrats denounce the plan as irresponsible, Bush's plan follows fairly mainstream Republican thinking and avoids the more exotic flat tax plans advocated by Forbes and some of the other Republican candidates, whose reactions ranged from tepid to dubious.
I want to make sure that it doesn't take from the Social Security Trust Fund. And I'm very surprised that his tutors couldn't have come up with something better than this.
So the Republican candidates have plenty to chew on as they head for the debate in New Hampshire tomorrow night, where they'll all be on the same stage for the first time. And this puts the focus on domestic issues, where frontrunner Bush especially seems most comfortable. Dan.
Bob Schieffer at the Capitol. Up next, the CBS Health Watch, a landmark day on the future road to gene therapy.
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
Genuine Bear Gel Caps, the only gel cap that can help save your life. Bear Gel Caps, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
I was ashamed of it.
For millions,
I'd actually have to hide.
gas can be a serious problem, but Phazyme starts to work on contact. To relieve gas, Phazyme Fast.
Phazyme. It works just like that.
Relieve gas, Phazyme Fast.
I like my little pooch.
What do I like about my body?
Jergens, we love every inch of you. So our skin smoothing lotion has alpha and beta hydroxy to polish and shine you.
My belly button!
Jergens, we love your body.
He's not here yet.
Can't wait till the holidays?
Want to make cookies?
Start celebrating now.
Is that him?
Not yet. Pillsbury sugar and new gingerbread cookies. Fun cookies you create and decorate together. Because it's the little moments that make the holidays.
Oh, Merry Christmas!
On the CBS Health Watch, a United Nations report out today to mark World AIDS Day. It underscores the toll the disease is taking on the world's next generation in a way that many people may not have considered. The UN estimates there are now more than 11 million children under age 15 left orphaned because their parents died of AIDS. Most, but not all, are in Africa. Also on the CBS Health Watch, it's 2 down and 44 to go in the massive science undertaking known as the Human Genome Project. Today, as CBS's Wyatt Andrews reports, an international research team has completely mapped 1 pair of the 46 human chromosomes, the blueprints for humankind. The implications for future treatment, even prevention of disease, may be enormous.
To medical scientists, this is the giant leap for mankind. Researchers in London and Washington today announced the first genetic mapping of a human chromosome, number 22. It's a milestone in discovering, bit by bit, the entire genetic code of mankind.
The determination of the DNA sequence of a whole human chromosome is a tour de force. It's like seeing the surface or the landscape of a new planet for the first time.
DNA, the body's instruction manual, forms 23 pairs of chromosomes, and now the code for one of them, number 22, has been written start to finish. It is several hundred genes and 33 million molecules long. It turns out 22 has instructions for forming the human face, the heart, and parts of the immune system.
You can think of this as the first complete chapter in the book of life.
This particular chapter is one of the smallest chromosomes.
That's it. It looks like a little orange blob, but it's...
But Dr. Francis Collins, director of the American Genome Project, says it holds the genes for some 25 diseases, including leukemia and schizophrenia. He believes doctors may soon tackle schizophrenia genetically.
Finding that gene, which will be now greatly aided by having the sequence, should lead us to better ideas about therapy and perhaps even cures for this very frustrating disorder.
It's only a matter of time now before medicine itself changes. Doctors can now see a day when medicine won't fix the symptoms of a disease, it will fix the gene that caused the disease. Today's announcement means that day will come sooner than anyone imagined. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Washington.
CBS's American Dream is next. A woman on a mission to make homelessness a thing of the past.
Watch it.
I am the scum buster. I make scum and mildew problems disappear. I make grease and dirt problems go away. If you got a messy situation, believe me, no one's got to know. I'm the scum buster. I am built by Black & Decker.
Dr. Scholl's next stop, San Francisco.
Let's talk about feet.
I do have corn.
I've tried Band-Aids.
They don't get rid of the corn.
This is Dr. Scholl's Cushion Gel Corn Removers. The Cushion Gel relieves the pain.
The medicated disc removes the corn.
It just feels so much better.
Well, my work here is done.
You are in the fight of your life. Just you against your smoking addiction, one-on-one. Trouble is, it's not a fair fight, and few people win it. But you can give yourself a fighting chance to win with Zyban. Zyban doesn't work for everyone. Zyban is part of a comprehensive program from your doctor to help you stop smoking. It's different from nicotine replacements. Zyban is the only prescription medicine that's nicotine-free, so you don't have to stop smoking all at once. As Zyban reduces your cravings, you feel like smoking less and less until you're ready to stop completely because you're ready to win. You should know there is a risk of seizure associated with Zyban. To reduce the risk, don't take Zyban if you have or have had a seizure or eating disorder, or if you take Wellbutrin. Don't take Zyban if you use an MAO inhibitor. Side effects may include dry mouth and difficulty sleeping. Ask your doctor if Zyban is right for you, because it can help you quit smoking by making it a fight you can win. Zyban, you don't have to quit all at once.
Why is Lysol spray the best way to help protect your family? Because of what it does, kills the cold bug in seconds, and what it doesn't do, leave the sticky film Clorox spray does. That's why nothing beats Lysol.
Mamma mia, cheesioso, molto bene, delizioso. Now Pringles, a pizza shot.
When the final numbers come out shortly, they're expected to confirm this was the biggest year ever for home sales in America. Millions of people achieved what is often called the American dream, owning a home. But for some, just having a place to call home was more than they dared to dream until they were touched by an angel.
Yes. How come these kids not getting up?
If you choose to live under the roof Dolores Davis built,
Come on, boys, come on. Let's go.
you play by her rules.
You cannot curse. You can't hit. You cannot bring any drugs, alcohol, anything in this building.
And you won't find too many complaints.
We have about 30 kids go to school.
In addition to the 12 kids she calls her own, everyone else who lives here is homeless.
These are regular, everyday people that just had a hard time. Homelessness is not a sin, and it's not a disease.
Dolores should know. She was once homeless herself.
With homelessness come a great shame. Like you failed somewhere. And now we've gotten to the point in this community or in this world where we isolate people who are homeless. We tell them you either stay on the street or you go to this shelter and you make your way that way.
And that's why Dolores has made it her life's dream to provide a home for every homeless person in Beaumont, Texas.
We can give them the American dream. We can provide a home for them, and they can become like all of us.
Dolores took over 3 abandoned houses.
And here's our donation room.
Most people in Beaumont believe her heart is in the right place. Still,
the city has required us to take everything out of here and find somewhere else to put it, because this, they said, it will be a fire hazard. And I understand that, truly believe them, and will comply.
Beaumont's mayor, David Moore, says Dolores has violated city building codes and has moved people in without permits.
We cannot allow our ordinance to be totally ignored. We cannot allow a structure that has electrical problems and about 27 total violations to just go with people being inside the facility.
Either help them or let me help them.
And until someone volunteers to step in, Dolores will continue to live up to her American dream, leading the charge to house Beaumont's homeless.
I would pray that there would never be another reason for somebody to say somebody's homeless. We're ready to start working now. Get to work. I'm turning vicious now.
Dolores has targeted 22 homes to rebuild in Beaumont. Then she says she'll move on to another city. Her goal, to make the word homeless obsolete.
The American Dream, brought to you by Fidelity Investments. We help you invest responsibly.
The field today looks like the Garden of Eden, but in February of 1945, mayhem, shelling, I got a shrapnel wound to the spine. I was one of the lucky ones. It could have been me, could have been anybody who sacrificed. It's something that never leaves my mind, frankly. It literally changed my life. When the war was over, I had saved a little bit of money. I started a small business and invested for my future. Once you get into the practice of saving for the future, especially investments, it never leaves you. I never would have guessed it would end up with a lot more than some war stories and a house to pass on to my kids.
Martin Lagan is one of the extraordinary people who invests responsibly with Fidelity. We can help you do the same. For your guide, visit Fidelity.com.
Floor Shine leather wingtips. Available online in 299 retail locations. Ooh, candies. Oh, classic Doc Martens. Full grain leather, lug soles. Available online in 234 retail locations. Ooh, hey, Steve Madden. Wait, Kenneth Cole. No, wait, Via Spiga? This never happened.
StoreRunner.com has shopping experts in every conceivable field, like Dave Pearson's shoes.
Kenneth Cole. Definitely Kenneth Cole.
StoreRunner.com. Log on, let's shop.
Nobody in America sells more office products to more businesses than Office Depot.
You can shop our store.
Taking care of business.
Or you can shop our catalog.
Taking care of business.
You can shop online.
Taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business and working overtime. Work out.
Office Depot. Taking care of business.
We leave you this evening with an early Y2K baby, already famous worldwide. This prime specimen of the international politics of cute, the 4-month-old giant panda cub at the San Diego Zoo, was officially named today. Wamei is her name. Wamei means China USA, a name approved by China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Panda politics and PR aside, the cub is doing well. She's put on about 11 pounds since birth, and she's had her first distemper shot. And yes, she even has her own website with, can you stand it, a live panda cam. Wamei is the first U.S.-born giant panda cub to survive past 4 days. Part of our world tonight. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the Internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
In the country, and now they're gassing everybody. What did you see here?
AATU's Weather on the Hour is brought to you by Teplic Laser Surgery Centers. Your vision for the future.
On World News Tonight this Wednesday, cracking down on the protesters in Seattle. Could police have done more to prevent the violence? George W. Bush announces his plan for a sweeping tax cut with an enormous price tag. Teenagers exploited in the drug trade across the Mexican border. We'll take a closer look. And the banking industry upset with people trying to cash in on Y2K. The bankers say, put your faith in God.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Jack Ford.
Good evening. Stung by the chaos that disrupted the opening meetings of the World Trade Organization, Seattle's mayor and police cracked down today, arresting hundreds of people and sealing off the center of the city. You might say the motto of the day was, not again. President Clinton, who wanted to make this conference a showcase for the benefits of free trade, is in Seattle today to try and make the best of the obviously tense situation. With the president, ABC's John Cochran.
Seattle police, realizing they reacted too slowly yesterday, went on the offensive this morning. Cordoning off a 20-block area around the WTO conference sites, police arrested almost 200 protesters in 1 hour.
The whole world is watching, and they don't get it.
3 times as many as were arrested yesterday. Many insisted they deplore violence.
We're a peaceful, non-violent protest.
It didn't matter. Police took no chances this time. Anyone in the wrong place at the wrong time was arrested, packed onto a bus, and taken to a remote warehouse. National Guard troops were also in the streets. The crackdown prevented a repetition of yesterday's widespread vandalism. But the city remained tense. President Clinton said he welcomed peaceful protesters, but
to those who came here to break windows and hurt small businesses or stop people from going to meetings or having their say, I condemn them.
the president said anyone protesting global trade is on the wrong side.
For a city that welcomes world trade, that expected the WTO conference would shine a positive light here, the past 2 days have been a crushing disappointment.
As evening approached, police found that just arresting people wasn't enough. They had to again resort to tear gas to disperse protesters who suddenly grew aggressive. Some of the demonstrators seemed intent on hit-and-run tactics, provoking police, then moving elsewhere. For an exhausted city, it looks like another uneasy night. John Cochran, ABC News, Seattle.
There is no question people are asking, how could the Seattle police seem so unprepared for protests that have been planned for so long? Here's ABC's Terry Moran.
Seattle's leaders were clearly on the defensive today. The police chief tried to explain why he waited so long to crack down on the demonstrators.
He did not want to send a message that Seattle was a police state.
Many residents did not see it that way.
The police were so busy gassing the nonviolent protesters, they didn't have time to chase the people who were violent.
Delegates from all over the world wondered why local authorities could not establish a secure corridor to enter the trade conference. Much of the mayhem on Seattle's streets yesterday was planned for months, in public, on the internet. And police leaders had met for weeks with the organizers of nonviolent protests who warned them that troublemakers were on their way. Still, at the critical moments when the protests surged out of control, the police seemed outnumbered and confused. Privately, some rank-and-file officers are criticizing their commanders. They wonder why it took so long to bring in support from other jurisdictions, and why, with all the advance notice that some demonstrators were determined to shut down their city, they were still taken by surprise. As one weary officer put it this morning, they made us look like amateurs. Terry Moran, ABC News, Seattle.
The city of Seattle was originally chosen to host these meetings because so many people who live there benefit from free trade. No American city exports as much, as President Clinton was happy to point out today, which helps explain why a good many people in Seattle are angry at the protesters and their very anti-trade message. Here's ABC's Deborah Wong.
There were people all over this city today making the argument for free trade.
And you walk around, you've got a metro area of 3 million people, and 1 million of those people are putting food on the table because of international trade.
It's not just the big corporations like Microsoft, which ships its software all over the world, or aircraft manufacturer Boeing, the U.S.'s largest exporter. It's also the tiny companies. Da Vinci Gourmet makes flavored syrups for coffee. Its sales to Asia and South America are the fastest growing segment of its market.
People understand that international business is growing for a small company like ours, that in the 21st century we need to think globally.
The Apple industry is certainly thinking globally. Apple growers are trying very hard at the WTO meetings this week to push for lower tariffs on the apples they sell to the rest of the world.
The more markets that we have available to us to sell the product, the better the price we can get. So that can make the difference between a lean year for the farmers or it can make or for a good year.
Which is why so many people here are on the side of President Clinton and the WTO and not on the side of all the protesters in the streets. Deborah Wong, ABC News, Seattle.
Several items around the world today. In Mexico, a second day of digging for victims of a powerful drug cartel. American and Mexican officials say they've now found 5 bodies on one ranch, though they're believed to be more than 100 buried on ranches just over the Texas border. Searchers have excavated only a small part of the land where the bodies are reportedly buried. ABC News has learned that the informant who tipped off the FBI about the graves was a former Mexican police official who had worked with the drug smugglers. Today is World AIDS Day, and there is a disturbing new report by the United Nations which focuses on the plight of children. 11 million children around the world have been orphaned as a result of AIDS, and the UN estimates there will be 2 million more by the end of next year. 95% of the orphans are in Africa. A scientific milestone today, biologists say that for the first time they have figured out the arrangement of all of the genes on a human chromosome. It's one of 23 that together contain the DNA blueprint that makes us what we are. Scientists are hoping to map all the chromosomes, but they started with number 22 because they believe mutations there cause mental retardation, as well as many kinds of cancer and other diseases. When we return, George W. Bush promises Americans a very big tax cut. And joking about the Y2K problem. One industry is not amused.
Ladies and gentlemen, gather one, gather all. You're going to see something that will truly astonish you. A talking dog. This dog not only speaks right, cowboys and cowgirls, come on over. I'm going to show you something truly amazing. This is an alien space egg, ladies and gentlemen. Step right over this way and you will see the world's most amazing computer deal. That's right, it defies belief.
Computer deals that sound too good to be true usually are, unless it's a gateway PC. For $28 a month, you get a PC with a year of internet included from a company you can believe in. Call 1-800-GATEWAY.
Excuse me, coming through. See ya.
Now bouillon's moving from your pantry right to your stove. New Weiler Shakers. Instant bouillon you can use as a seasoning. So shake up the flavor with new Weiler Shakers.
All right.
The Spot Lifter is Bissell's Wash It Down, Lift It Up, Get On With Your Life, cordless deep cleaner. Life's messy. Clean it up.
So what'll happen to all this now that you're going virtual?
We're not going virtual.
I read you're getting into internet trading, online cash management.
Well, we are, yes.
The end of an era.
Not at all. Online trading and the rest of it are simply new tools we're making available.
You don't have to sugarcoat it for me, but I must tell you, I'm going to miss our little chats.
Nelson, I'm not going away. The office isn't going away.
The coffee? The ticker?
Not going away.
What about the little bull?
Not going away.
Good.
Good boy, Simon.
When your dog is the star of a syndicated comic strip, you get lots of fan mail. Okay, Simon gets most of it. When we ran the strip where Simon snubs his food, people sent all kinds of dog food. I read the labels, and in every bag of Purina One brand beef and rice formula, beef is the #1 ingredient. In lots of designer dog foods, it's corn. So I let Simon try Purina One. I'd say it went over pretty well. Purina One, second to none.
In Iowa today, Texas Governor George W. Bush laid out a plan for a major tax cut, $483 billion over 5 years. Republican candidates are always trying to make tax cuts a core issue. In political circles, Governor Bush's sweeping plan is seen as an attempt to shore up his conservative credentials while also appealing to Democrats. Paying for the cut and getting voters to buy it are another matter altogether. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
Thank you very much. Before a friendly audience and with his campaign commercial cameras rolling, the governor of Texas unveiled a plan that gives a tax break to virtually everybody.
It's an economics of inclusion. It is the agenda of a government that knows its limits and shows its heart.
Under the Bush plan, income tax rates would drop from 39% to 33% for the wealthiest Americans. Middle income rates would go from more than 30% down to 25%, and low-income earners would pay no more than 10% instead of the current 15%, a focus on the working poor in line with Bush's repeated calls for compassionate conservatism.
We will take down the toll gate on the road to the middle class in America.
Bush would also phase out inheritance taxes and give greater help to families with children, to married couples, and to the elderly on Social Security.
The plan was unveiled a day before Bush will, for the first time, join his fellow Republican candidates in a debate at Manchester, New Hampshire. Those other Republicans have been waiting a long time to take direct aim at Bush, and his new tax plan is providing a big target.
See you later. This morning, after he'd shaken Bush's hand, GOP rival Steve Forbes was eager to pounce.
I think it's a small tax cut designed to get through the election. It's more political expediency, and I'm very surprised that his tutors couldn't have come up with something better than this.
And the Democrats say Bush's plan to use the U.S. budget surplus to pay for his tax cuts is way too risky. But if Bush is bothered by all this criticism, he isn't showing it so far.
I hope we can deliver Iowa for you. I think you will.
Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Des Moines.
Whatever you want me to do.
Speaking in Iowa today, Vice President Gore responded to Governor Bush's tax plan. He said it's astonishing that Governor Bush can't keep himself from using up the budget surplus. And elsewhere on the money tonight, first stocks, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up more than 120 points today to close at 10,998. Meanwhile, on the NASDAQ, stocks were up 17 points. An entrepreneur in Houston has sold the internet address business.com for $7.5 million, the highest price ever for an internet name. No company, just the name. The people who bought it say that the name will save millions in advertising costs. A few items about well-known American businesses in trouble. McDonald's is buying the struggling fast food chain Boston Market for $173 million. The government has ordered Toys R Us to pay a $200,000 fine for violating child labor laws. 14 and 15-year-old employees were working longer hours and later into the night than federal law allows. And a classic American family restaurant is disappearing. Hot Shops was founded more than 70 years ago by Bill and Alice Marriott of Marriott Hotels. Tomorrow, this last of the chain in suburban Washington will close. In Washington today, the Supreme Court heard a major case about who can control tobacco. The Clinton administration wants the Food and Drug Administration to regulate tobacco as an addictive drug. The tobacco industry says only Congress has that power. Its lawyers even argued that cigarettes are too dangerous to be regulated by the FDA, whose job is to keep drugs safe. In their comments during the hearing, several justices seem to agree with the industry. Lax security is still a serious problem at the nation's major airports. That, according to a report by the Transportation Department's Inspector General. The report criticizes the department's own Federal Aviation Administration for not doing enough to keep airports safe from dangerous trespassers. Here's ABC's John Martin.
The Inspector General's report said the FAA has been slow to strengthen security at U.S. airports. Inspectors went to several unnamed airports and found it easy to follow employees through doors, ride unguarded elevators, walk through supposedly closed areas unchallenged, drive through unmanned gates, and actually board a significant number of aircraft. How could this happen? The IG said there were 3 reasons. Airport operators and air carriers are not controlling access properly. Airport employees are not doing their jobs. The FAA is not ensuring compliance. It is not clear that inspectors tested Miami International Airport, but just yesterday, federal prosecutors indicted the security firm monitoring luggage scanners for failing to check the backgrounds of 22 employees and then lying to investigators about it. Earlier, 58 Miami International Airport workers were indicted for smuggling contraband at the airport.
The FAA calls the IG's criticism helpful and says it has already strengthened security by conducting 3,000 access tests at 79 airports. So just how lax has security gotten? The FAA says it is pursuing nearly 400 security lapses around the country. John Martin, ABC News, Washington.
A sign from the Egyptian government today that it may be starting to accept the likelihood that the Egypt Air crash investigation will be handed over to the FBI. A representative of Egypt Air said that the airline, which is owned by the government, would not object to having the FBI take over the investigation. Just ahead, teenagers smuggling drugs with very little fear of being punished.
World News Tonight with Peter Jennings and a closer look. Brought to you by Aflac. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance?
Because he has his mother's eyes. Because I still have to teach him to whistle. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm injured, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Did I mention he has his mother's eyes? Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, Metro Airways Trans-Europe Express. Frankfurt, Rome. Airlines Flight 755.
Ready to go shopping?
Ready for a better way to get my fiber.
You'll have to concentrate.
Huh?
Concentrate on these new Phillips fiber caps.
New Phillips fiber caps don't contain sweeteners like most powders. You can't get a more concentrated fiber, so they're just as effective as Metamucil.
And there's no sweeteners.
How do you know all that?
I used my concentration.
New Phillips fiber caps, effective fiber therapy without the powder.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. You know, your home is your sanctuary, the one place you and your children should feel safe. But there can be dangers, too, and some of them are not so obvious. Improperly wired outlets that can electrocute, water coolers that can burn, household cleaners that can kill, lead paint that can poison. To find out about them, call HUD.
For a free brochure on HUD's healthy homes and FHA loans, just call. HUD and FHA are on your side.
With the recent discovery of so many bodies in Mexico and the connection with a Mexican drug cartel that we've reported on, we're going to take a closer look tonight at a disturbing new trend in the drug trade, the increase in young people being used as smugglers. The U.S. Customs Service estimates that 400 teenagers have been arrested so far this year for smuggling drugs into the country, an increase of 30% over last year. One of the hottest places for teenage smuggling is El Paso, Texas, just across the border from Juarez, where the bodies were found. As ABC's Kevin Newman reports, 1 in 8 smugglers arrested there is now younger than 18. Federal law protects their identities from being revealed.
To do this before?
For this 16-year-old American, the temptation was great.
What made you say yes?
The money. The money.
How much money did they promise you?
Well, we're gonna get 800.
And the way to earn it?
It seemed easy enough to just drive a car over a bridge.
Even the consequences seemed minor to this 14-year-old from El Paso.
They just say that you're just going to be locked up for 3 weeks.
Boys and girls are an increasingly popular target for Mexican drug cartels because they'll smuggle narcotics for less money and are easily manipulated. Customs officials say the exploitation is mushrooming.
We're talking up in the 90% increase from previous years.
The recruiting begins here on the Mexican side of the border in Juarez. Police say the drug cartels approach poor young Mexicans and American teenagers bar hopping, willing to drive a car a quarter mile to El Paso for a couple of $100.
I didn't even know them, their names, nothing. We had just met them that day.
The teenagers are given a car and a promise of payment once they've taken the drugs across the border.
How much marijuana did you think you had in the car?
About 10 pounds or something, not that much. They say it was going to be like a small amount, and when it turned out to be big amount.
How much?
110 pounds.
So much traffic moves across this border, finding even half of the cars carrying drugs is impossible. When sniffer dogs do pick up a scent, agents then look for the telltale signs of a hidden stash. Wrapped in bundles, 170 pounds of marijuana with a street value of $680,000.
23.
Yet as agents compiled this evidence, the 15 and 16-year-old American girls who drove the car seemed relaxed. They may spend a few weeks in detention, but the likelihood of going to jail is remote.
It's true in most cases, or many cases, that nothing happens to young people who are caught with a quantity of drugs.
Even in a tough-on-crime state like Texas, only 17 juveniles have been sent to prison in the last 2.5 years. 98 received probation, and 63 had their cases dropped or dismissed. Probation officials say kids deserve a chance to learn from their mistakes.
The majority of these kids are first offenders, probably about 85 to 90% are.
But light punishment is also a selling point for the drug cartels when they make their pitch. And Mexican authorities seem unwilling to crack down on them.
Do you think you'll ever be able to catch the guys on the Mexican side that are doing this?
I'm not hopeful on that side right now.
So U.S. Customs agents say it's all but inevitable that more children will be lured into the web of the narcotics trade. Kevin Newman, ABC News, El Paso.
When we come back, why are the nation's bankers writing sermons?
Imagine a world without moisture. For millions of people with dry, scratchy eyes, this is how their world feels. Now there's new Visine Tears for dry eyes, with a unique tears formula not found in other leading brands. Visine Tears soothes dry, scratchy eyes and makes them feel moist and comfortable in seconds. Discover a world of comfort with new Visine Tears. It gets the dry out. Now available in preservative-free single-use containers.
Are we going to have a good time tonight?
Bye, Dad. Thanks for jumping in and watching Tyler.
Bye, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. There he goes.
If you knew you were going to be a babysitter today...
Oh, uh-oh. Glad it wasn't my teeth.
You would have made sure you used Fixodent.
Come here. Oh, what do you do?
Hey, smart move. You did use Fixodent. So now you're ready...
I gotta wait.
...for just about anything. For an even better fit. Fixodent and forget it.
You know, people still ask me about the crash. I'm tired of talking about the crash. I mean, first of all, it wasn't even really a crash. 1929. That was a crash.
Yeah, that was bad.
98 was more like a market correction, typically defined by like 10, 20% drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which if you consider the economic factors that are affecting the current risk premium.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
I guess it's not that surprising.
we created a smarter kind of investor.
What do you know about expense ratios?
An expense ratio is the percentage.
What if you could find the exact car you want, in the color you want, at a dealer near you, just by moving a mouse?
Silver's nice.
No, red.
Gold?
Black. Well, now you can.
It's our website.
GMBuyPower.com.
I went on chemo at the time my oldest daughter was getting married. We had planned everything, the fabric, the design, the whole gown. But when it was time to sew the dress, the chemo, it makes you weak. My whole life I've made clothes for other people, but for my own daughter's wedding, I was too tired to make the dress.
Are you a chemotherapy patient? Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy, and more red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
In life, you take the bitter with the sweet, but I plan to end up with more sweet.
2020 tonight.
I've been a junkie, convict, whore.
They trade sex for money, but have names, families, dreams. 2020 enters the lives of women of the night. Set aside what you think you know for the eye-opening truth. 2020 tonight.
Coming up next on Channel 2 News, Seattle police go from putting up with protesters to putting them behind bars. And kids getting a second chance at life. Could sandwiches be the secret of their success? I'm Steve Dunn. News of the Northwest is coming up next.
A brief review of our lead story. Taking no chances today, Seattle police sealed off the city center and arrested more than 200 people who wanted to protest against the World Trade Organization. President Clinton, in a nod to the protesters, said the WTO needs to make its decision-making process more open to the public. Finally, this evening, 31 days to the millennium. Public fears over the millennium computer bug, justified or not, are particularly troubling to the country's banking industry, because the banking system relies on the public's confidence to maintain stability.
According to the nation's largest association of bankers, God, the FDIC, and a number of other prominent people have the Y2K situation well in hand. Here's ABC's James Walker.
Mystery, danger, Y2K. To advertisers, it is a great sell.
This is a bank run. Everyone's afraid of losing their money with this Y2K problem.
The Kia Motor Company is making fun of the Millennium Bug. But the American Bankers Association, which guards the image of the nation's bankers, saw no humor. Deeply concerned, it wrote the automaker, we are telling banking's federal regulators, withdraw this advertisement.
Bankers do have a sense of humor, but when the jokes are about the United States banking system, that's something different, and that concerned them.
Kia refused to pull the ad.
We assume the American public is smarter than what the bankers are making them out to be.
Meanwhile, Polaroid launched its own Y2K commercial, and it really unnerved the nervous bankers. Seconds before midnight, an ATM customer checks his balance, $342.63. But as the clock strikes midnight, his balance soars. The ABA refused to say cheese. It fired off a letter to Polaroid. You throw fuel on people's fears about the ability of their banks to weather Y2K. Polaroid buckled and withdrew the ad. Then the bankers escalated the campaign against Y2K paranoia. The bankers wrote an 1,864-word sermon for ministers to deliver that proclaims nothing bad will happen because of Y2K. It is complete with references to Moses and to Bill Gates. Prepare as best you can, the sermon advises, then trust God for the rest. If the sermon was ever delivered, Nike did not hear it. The company has a new ad that also pokes fun at Y2K and the banks. Wait a second. Roll that back. An ATM machine spitting out cash? Nike says so far no complaints from the bankers, or for that matter, from the Pentagon. James Walker, ABC News.
And that is our report on World News Tonight. Later on Nightline, does anybody have the guts to send that 5-year-old boy who was plucked from the sea back to Cuba? I'm Jack Ford. For all of us at ABC News, have a good night.
Tomorrow on Good Morning America, Pat Buchanan, running with the Reform Party, taking on Trump. Never at a loss for words, he talks with Diane Sawyer on tomorrow's Good Morning America. And on World News Tonight, foreign termites arriving in the U.S. by ship, eating up America's homes. Can they be stopped? Watch World News Tonight.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News.
Little Bubba was asleep, so we gotta keep it down.
And wait till you hear how Lucy